Hey guys, happy Friday. Just wanted to jump on here and read our last story for the week. This is our 8th story that I have shared with you. And as I said, I have promised that I'm going to do at least 17. So please keep watching. We'll have many more stories to come after this. I wanted to start off by drawing somebody for the Little Island story. So put the names in here. I'm going to go ahead and draw a winner for that question. All right, and our winner is Wyatt. So congratulations, Wyatt. Thank you for answering. Wyatt, you have religiously answered all of the questions, so I will make sure to get you a little something out in the mail today, Wyatt. Congratulations to you. To go over the answer from the Little Island, remember I gave you 2 options. I gave you the option to draw a picture to visualize what you thought the island looked like. So give me a illustration that matches the picture in your head. And I got so many neat illustrations. So hats off to those of you who did the visualization. And then the second option that I gave was I asked what was changing throughout the story. And many people correctly identified that what's changing is the seasons are changing. And so the author gave you a very clear visualization or a very clear picture of what the island was like at different seasons. So the seasons is the answer to what was changing. Okay. Today I'm going to share with you a story called Hurricane that was written by David Weisner. And it has some really neat illustrations in it, very clear pictures. I can't find Hannibal anywhere, Mom, David has said. I thought he'd be home when we got back from the store. I'm sure that Hannibal is all right, Mom answered. Cats know more about storms than people do. But if it will make you feel better, why don't you and George go look for him while I put the groceries away? Don't go too far from the house, though. Your father will help you look as soon as he has finished securing everything in the yard. There he is, David exclaimed. He and George peered through the gaps between the strips of tape that they had put onto the storm door. A thoroughly wet Hannibal peered back at them. Let's get him inside before the wind blows him away, George said. Could the wind really be strong enough to blow Hannibal away, David asked. Well, the radio said that we could expect sustained winds of 50 miles per hour, gust up to 90. Any time now, and the hurricane is still 50 miles off the coast. Look at the leaves out there. It looks like a green blizzard, George answered. David listened to the walls of the house creaking against the wind. If it's like this now, what's it going to be like when the hurricane hits? Suddenly, the lights went out. Nobody panic, their dad called from the kitchen. The electric lines will be down. Just hang in there, boys. We're on our way with flashlights and candles. They're bracing for this big storm. They had supper by the fireplace that night, and it felt safe with everybody together, even though there were creaks and groans and sometimes great roaring sounds coming from outside. The hurricane was in full force. David and George took a hurricane lamp to bed with them. The storm had begun to pass over them. Maybe the eye is passing over us, George said. I'd like to be in one of those weather planes, the ones that fly into the eye of a hurricane where it's all peaceful and calm. Yeah, David said, though he wasn't so certain that he'd like to fly into a hurricane. I wonder where the birds are right now, and what about the squirrels? I bet the squirrels are holed up in their trees. But I've read about birds being blown thousands and thousands of miles, maybe even clear across the Atlantic, George said. Do you think anything awful has happened outside? David asked. Who knows? I guess we'll see tomorrow, George replied. The next morning, only one elm tree was standing near the corner of the yard. The day before, there had been 2. The downed tree was lying across the neighbor's lawn. Look at that, David said. It could have hit Mr. Wilbur's house, and we didn't even hear it fall. Wow, this is great, George said. They circled the tree. It looks like a sleeping giant. Look at those big limbs and branches. It's like a jungle. Let's play safari. We never had a jungle to play safari in before. David didn't wait for an answer. He was already climbing onto the fallen tree. David fearlessly led the expedition into the very heart of the jungle, stalking the mighty leopard. So you can see they're using their imagination to create another land. That afternoon, they rode the 7 seas with George at the helm, while David searched the horizon for pirate ships. And the next day, and the day after that, they journeyed to the stars and beyond. Sometimes they just sat and enjoyed the view. The tree was a private place, big enough for secret dreams and small enough for a shared adventure. "What'll we do this afternoon?" George asked. "I don't care," David answered. "It just feels good being here." Then it happened. They woke one morning to an ear-splitting roar and the sight of men advancing on the tree with chainsaws. "How could they do this?" David asked. "It's our tree." "It's our tree, but it is in Mr. Wilbur's yard. I guess that's how they do it." "But they didn't even tell us," David said, feeling as miserable as he had ever felt in his life. "It was a great tree," said George. "Yeah," David agreed. "A really great tree." David and George spent the rest of the day sitting under the surviving elm, watching the men haul away their tree. And in the late afternoon, the sky grew dark and thunder rumbled in the distance. "Hey guys," Dad called, "there's going to be a storm. The wind's kicking up. Come inside before it starts to rain." David and George looked up at the old elm. "This is a great tree too," David said. "Yeah," George agreed. "And if it fell, it would land in our yard." No words, just the cat looking out. So you have to imagine what you think will happen. And that actually leads us exactly into what my question is for the day. So we're left knowing that another storm is coming and there is that other tree out there that could potentially fall and could potentially fall into their yard. It may or it may not. So I want you to create a new ending for me, okay? This story kind of leaves off on just a cliffhanger there. So what's going to happen, okay? Write for me a couple sentences, however much it takes for you. Let me know what you think is going to happen next as this next storm blows in, okay? You have the weekend to work on that, and then I will be back on Monday, and I will make sure that I draw an answer from The Legend of the Blue Bonnet, which was read yesterday. It was the one about the Texas and the bluebell flowers. So if you have not gone back to that one, you still have time because over the weekend you can work on that one, and then also on Hurricane. I look forward to seeing your answers, and I've already had many prize winners, but like I said, I want to do this enough days that everybody gets to join in that kind of celebration. So please keep watching, please keep answering, and please keep viewing. Have a great weekend.